This evening, pay no attention to the typographical error. This evening, let's explore metaphors, confusion, and meditation. Oopsie, wrong button. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. This is the Lama you are looking for. This evening we could chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two. But first, if you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as profoundly as Ahsoka Tano on Lothal, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Real quick, I'm going to wipe the camera. Okay. Well, let's tap button 5 and away we go. Once again this evening we could explore metaphors, confusion, and meditation, that you too could meditate like a Jedi. If at any point during the live stream you have a question about meditation or philosophy or even chanting, there is no need to be shy. Simply type your question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. If you're watching a replay, the area where you can type your question is the comment area below. Well, the sun is set, the day is done, and if you're feeling groggy, there's nothing quite as invigorating as knocking out 2 or 3 repetitions of geriatric step-back squat thrusts while performing a chant or recitation of love and enthusiasm. But first, I want to make sure everything's in sync. May I liberate all beings by mastering the Eightfold Path, relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings by mastering the Eightfold Path through the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings by by mastering the Eightfold Path on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. Ta-da! Oh boy. Whoops. C on Reddit asked, if we are awareness, who makes decisions in our life? C continued, if we are awareness, we are not our thoughts nor our body, then who is the decision maker? I was pondering this idea of using mindfulness to allow ourselves to make better decisions. But I am stumped on the idea of, are we really the ones making the decision? Is there any free will? Every thought and action predetermined by past experiences and history. I don't fully understand the idea of not being the thinker. I understand observing thoughts and not identifying with the ego, but I still feel as though I can think and I can make decisions. Because I feel as though whilst I can observe thoughts that come and pass, I can also bring a thought into the mind or generate a feeling through thinking. So on the subject of free will, I strongly recommend the book by the neuroscientist Sam Harris, Free Will. In it, he explores how neuroscience has debunked the idea of free will, and that sequentially, we seem to make a decision before there's any awareness of the decision we made, no less any will. And there's no real will, just a story we tell ourselves to justify the decision. He says it far more eloquently than I. So the whole teachings, the wisdom teachings, the so-called wisdom teachings of the Mahayana, if taken literally, will not make any sense. They only make sense when approached figuratively. The only reason someone would say that you are awareness is in a foolish attempt to get you to let go. Sadly, there are far better ways of letting go. Using belief actually undermines our journey to enlightenment, because belief by very definition is a holding on to. It's a rigidity of intellect and emotion. So I hopefully said it more eloquently in the formal response to the question. Boy, there's a lot of wobbling going on here. Okay, hopefully that's better. Okay. It is a dark irony that the metaphors created by good-hearted teachers with the intention of benefiting their befuddled students have been misunderstood by so many, and as such have done more harm than good. Over numerous decades, it has been my experience that when encountering an opaque teaching, one must first explore the possibility that it is more figurative than literal, reverse engineer it from metaphor to simile, and then dig even deeper. What if the Buddha had no use for metaphysical diatribes? Then, when something sounded spooky, we could ask ourselves, what could be the intention driving this metaphor practical and trenchant? Our minds have many functions. They emote, intend, reason, recall, and imagine, as well as perceive all that. In addition to perceiving all our sensations, flavors, scents, sounds, sights, and the like. When we perceive the recollection of a disturbing memory during the mindfulness phase of our inhalation, it could be safe and even productive to experience it with the utmost of vulnerability, as long as we remember that during the meditation phase of our exhalation, we are wired to physically relax and mentally release that we might better let go, as if we were not that memory or the emotions it elicited. This is the key to meditating like a Jedi, and I wish I would have added another phrase, as if we were not that memory or the emotions it elicited, but merely the observer of the memory, merely the awareness of that memory. But truly, trying to define who we are does more harm than good. Our job, my friends, is to let go, even of fine-sounding metaphysics. Every 12 hours, I broadcast a live meditation class without any ads. This channel is supported by the generosity of viewers just like you. With your help, this channel could support the next generation of nuns, monks, yogis, lamas, and even brick and mortar meditation centers, each replete with a resident teacher and their apprentice. If this speaks to you, and you'd like to help out even for as little as the cost of 1 cup of coffee a month, then poke around the description area below the video. You'll find a link for PayPal, a link for Patreon, a button for YouTube Join, and another button for YouTube Super Chat. Any one of these can be useful to you. I'm going to take a moment to check the time and check for any questions. Finding none, I suspect it could be great fun if together as a team we chanted 6 passages of my adaptation and amplification of the Padmakara group's translation of the last meditation manual of Heart Treasure of the Enlightened Ones, the last meditation manual attributed to the great 19th century Tibetan yogi Dzogchen Rinpoche. In the non-graspable nature of mind, the simplicity of void awareness, everything is freed. Thoughty, spontaneous creativity of awareness, all purified in their own sphere. Mind and awareness are one in the single essence. In the non-meditation of Dharmakaya, take 2. In the non-meditation of Dharmakaya's mastery of awareness and release, recite this 12-syllable mantra. This is actually quite fortuitous. So we're talking here about mind and awareness. So what do we mean by mind? We're talking about our awareness of perception, our awareness of sensation, flavors, scents, sounds, sights, and the like. Our awareness of emotion, intention, reason, recall, and imagination. So there is the object and the subject. But how are they one? Both of them can be observed as we breathe in. And both of them can feel quite non-graspable when we relax into our exhalation. So although things may seem quite different when we notice them during our in-breath, all of them have the same taste of non-graspability as we relax. That is what is meant by single essence or one taste or non-duality. Together, to recognize as non-graspable as a mythical take 2. To recognize as non-graspable as a mythic pure land comprised only of light. Whatever circumstances appear as a crucial point of the creation stage. Clinging to appearance as beautiful or ugly is liberated into its own non-graspable nature. Free of clinging mind as it appears as non-graspable as the pure land comprised only of light of Supreme Shakyamuni. In the self-liberation of visual experiences, recite this 12-syllable mantra. To recognize sounds as non-graspable as mantra is a crucial point of recitation practice. Clinging to sound as pleasant or unpleasant is liberated into its own nature. Free of grasping the spontaneous sound of dreading samsara, and take 2. Free of grasping the spontaneous sound of dreading samsara and desiring nirvana. Wow, having a tough time, guys. Free of grasping the spontaneous sound of dreading samsara and desiring nirvana is as non-graspable as the voice of these 12 syllables. Let's see here real quick. Control G. Does that take me here? Yes, it does. Fabulous. In the self-liberation of hearing recite this 12-syllable mantra. To recognize sense as non-graspable as if they were unborn is a crucial part of the completion stage. Clinging to odor as fragrant or foul as liberated into its own non-graspable nature. Free of grasping all sense or as non-graspable as a fragrant non-violent discipline of Supreme Shakyamuni. In the self-liberation of smelling recite this 12-syllable mantra. To recognize flavors as non-graspable as an imaginary feast is the crucial point of offering. Clinging to taste as delicious or disgusting is liberated into its own non-graspable nature. Once free of grasping food and drink or substances to delight the supreme sage of the Shakya clan. In the self-liberation of tasting recite this 12-syllable mantra. To recognize sensations as essential sameness is the crucial point of equal taste. Feelings of repletion and hunger, hot and cold, are liberated into their own non-graspable nature. Free of grasping all sensations and feelings, or as non-graspable as the archetype's body comprised only of light. In the self-liberation of sensation recite this 12-syllable mantra. Alright, let's tap button 9 and make our way to this evening's primary practice text. The latest version of Buddha's Easy Tantra. I guess I could check to see if there are any questions. All right. May everyone be free from stress, may everyone be happy, may no one be separated from the happiness. May everyone have balance, free from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging, free. Trick 2. May everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging, freed. I'm going to do a quick edit because that's basically my middle name at this point in life. Okay, from the top. May everyone be free from stress, may everyone be happy, may no one be separated from the happiness. May everyone have balance from hating, craving, and clinging, tyranny, freed. I think an apostrophe S would work splendid. Okay, that's enough of that silliness. May I liberate all beings by mastering the Eightfold Path through relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings by mastering the Eightfold Path through relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings by mastering the Eightfold Path through relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. Let us contemplate, let us perform 4 wisdom contemplations in the form of rhetorical questions. Let's use melting as a metaphor of impermanence, that we might better leapfrog over the tyranny of our clinging tendencies. Let us also play with absorption as a metaphor of interdependence, that we might also leapfrog over the tyranny of our competitive tendencies. How could all places blissfully melt into rainbow light that absorbs into this body? How could all bodies blissfully melt into rainbow light that absorbs into this speech? How could all speech blissfully melt into rainbow light that absorbs into this mind? How could all minds blissfully melt into rainbow light that absorbs into infinite emptiness? We're going to, our final recitation prior to our first silent meditation is calling the Lama from afar, or Lama Khenmo if you prefer Tibetan. And this is very useful in gathering the energy at the crown, which can support our silent meditation. Our first silent meditation of the evening. O Lama, please come to this crown that I may master awareness and letting go. O Lama, please come to this crown that I may master awareness and letting go. O Lama, please come to this crown that I may master awareness and letting go. Let's make sure the appears okay on the screen. Fabulous. Let us demystify mindfulness. As we inhale, we could silently and mentally recite, watching this. And now let us explore meditation. As we exhale, we could silently and mentally recite, relaxing. But why would we do that? Every inhalation accesses the sympathetic nervous system that supports the sensory acuity that enables us to watch the external or the internal, the physical or the mental, the pleasurable or the painful, the interesting or the boring, the glorious or the grotesque. It helps us to notice these things, helps us to watch these things vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and even randomly. To the point that the only label we need ever use is simply the pronoun this. But what are we to do with all this stuff that we notice? Each exhalation helps us to access, or causes us to access, our parasympathetic nervous system, that supports both our physical relaxation as well as our mental release. During this meditation, what are some of the things we could find ourselves releasing? We could release our resistance to the presence of things we hate. We could release our resistance to the absence of things we crave. We could even release our resistance to the loss of that to which we cling. It is 25 minutes after the hour. Checking for one last question. Let's meditate. By the way, there's a wonderful video on YouTube that I lost it. If you find it, please send it to me over Facebook, through the Facebook group. But it's of an artist taking a remarkably small object that looked like a domino and stacking it next to an object a little bit bigger, and in front of an object a little bit bigger, and then a domino a little bit bigger, until finally it was a domino the size of a door. And he knocked over the teeny tiny thimble size domino, and it's created a chain reaction that eventually knocked over a huge domino. And the point that the artist was trying to convey to his observers is this: insignificance is an illusion. Everything is significant. In the larger scheme of things, we can each generate the butterfly effect, where a butterfly on a shrub in Beijing, articulating its wings to dry them of dew in the early morning sunlight, could set in motion a chain of events that results in a thunderstorm over Central Park, half a world away. Let us bring mantra contemplation into the path of love. Through the cause and effect of my practice of love and letting go, may he sentient being of each world know practice with me in unison. With whom we invoke the example of Muni wise one. I forgot a preposition. With whom we invoke the example of the Muni wise one. Like the Maha greatly wise one Muni, yea, of the Shakyas, we so all wish enlightenment for all. As we chant the mantra, it could feel as if golden rays were emitting from a thumbnail-sized horizontal 12-syllable mantra rosary at our hearts. Lavishing on one's communication, bodies and circumstances with wisdom, love, health, and good fortune, centered and spontaneous. We're going to play now with 4 intentions. These intentions are not affirmations to be believed or to be visualized or to emote. If all we do is silently and mentally recite these words in harmony with our inhalation and our exhalation and our relaxation, that's enough. Let us lovingly wish that all minds of all beings now be as wise as a Buddha's mind, symbolized by a 1-syllable invocation, known as a seed invocation or a bija mantra. Let us lovingly wish that all beings' communication and its consequences upon their relationships be as loving as a Buddha's mind, symbolized by a polysyllabic invocation or mantra. Let us lovingly wish that all bodies of all beings now enjoy the health that we see depicted in the artwork representing the archetypes of enlightenment known in Tibet as yidams. Let us lovingly wish that all circumstances of all beings now be as fortunate as a real or imagined, as a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, or Pure Land, or Vati if you prefer Sanskrit. Now let us bring Mandana contemplation into the path of the wisdom of letting go, but first I'm going to check for questions. Finding none. Well, that's odd. Huh. May I let go of all circumstances, bodies, communication, and minds, as if they were as non-graspable as a vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, could be non-graspable to the hand. We switch gears now from intentions to rhetorical questions. How is it that as we inhale, we could observe the visual aspects of our circumstance, and yet, as we relax into our exhalation, these exact same circumstances could begin to feel as if they were as non-graspable as a real or imagined paradise comprised only of light. How is it that as we inhale, we were able to observe the sensations of our bodies, and yet, as we physically relax into our exhalation, these exact same bodies could begin to feel as if they were as non-graspable as an archetype of enlightenment comprised only of light. And now our third rhetorical question. Why is it that when we inhale, we could observe the resonance of our communication and its interpersonal consequences, and yet, as we physically relax into our exhalation, these exact same communication and its consequences could feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined mantra comprised only of light? And now we come to this evening's final rhetorical question. As we inhale, why is it that when we inhale, we could observe the functions of our mind so very clearly, and yet, when we physically relax into our exhalation, these exact same minds and their functions could feel as if they were as non-graspable as a one-syllable mantra comprised only of light? In preparation for this evening's final set of silent meditations, let's perform Guru Yoga, known in Tibetan as Lama Naljor. O Lama, please blend with us, heart that I may master bliss and letting go. O Lama, please blend with us, heart that I may master bliss and letting go. O Lama, please blend with us, heart that I may master bliss and letting go. This type of meditation is known as tea clay or drop meditation. It is also known as Bindu Mahamudra or Anu Yoga. May all mind, speech, forms, and lots have the wisdom, love, health, and boon of Buddha's mythical Bija Mantra Yedam and Vati. Having sat for an hour, I think it could be frightfully refreshing to knock out 2 or 3 repetitions of geriatric step back squat thrusts. Let's see here. May I liberate all beings by mastering the Eightfold Path through the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings by mastering the Eightfold Path through relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings by mastering the Eightfold Path through the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. Oof. Oh boy. Whew. Okay. May all beings like the Buddha, Master being flexible, loving, laid back, egalitarian, cooperative, and kind. May all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and calmness, the spontaneous and uncontrived. May all beings like the Buddha master the Eightfold Path as well as liberate others. May each being take auspicious rebirth, master the Buddha's path, and then help others do likewise. At this very moment, for the peoples and the nations of the earth, may not even the names disease, famine, war, or suffering be heard. Rather may their kind conduct merit wealth and prosperity increase. And may supreme good fortune and well-being always arise for them. Beginning with Kuntu Zangpo and Great Dorje Chang down to Mayung Kindest Root Lama. Whatever aspirations they have made to benefit beings, may I accomplish them all. In approximately 10.5 hours, we could return to explore favorable reincarnation, as well as chant and meditate some more. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy, and if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.